All right, small business people, this is episode 1 of Small Business Shipping. Today we're going to talk about shipping carriers. So one of the first things we need to understand is the rate structure. There's 2 types of rates. There's published rates and there's negotiated rates. The rates you're going to get if you walk into, say, a Fedex or a UPS store, for example, you're going to get reamed, because those are published rates and they are the highest ones that people pay. The good thing about negotiated rates are they're significantly lower than published, and I'll talk about what you can expect a little bit later here. When you're negotiating a contract, you can use some people to help you behind the scenes. They're billing auditing companies, and they used to make a lot of money by helping you recoup money for service level failures, which basically those are when UPS fails to deliver or FedEx fails to deliver it as they promised. An overnight package doesn't get there overnight. Well, they had to refund you. But guess what they did during COVID? Yep, they got rid of that. And it was supposed to be a temporary thing, but nope, now it's gone forever. Yeah, by the way, that's a class action lawsuit subject that we're looking into. But regardless, you no longer get that money, and the auditing companies no longer get that money. And so you used to share that they helped you recoup, the audit companies, as much as 50%. But if you were good, like, if you were tough like me, I was able to get it down to like in the 20% range. But that money's all gone now. So unfortunately for these audit companies, they don't make as much as they used to. So what they want to do now is they want to negotiate behind the scenes, think like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, with UPS or FedEx, and then they want to take a chunk of the money they save you in your contract, and they're going to want 50% of that. So in other words, if they can save you $100,000 a year for 3 years, they're going to want you to pay them $150,000 for that service. So whether or not to use an audit company, that's up to you, but there are some other advantages, at least in the billing auditing side of it. Guys, don't remain silent. Join the fight against dishonesty and greed, if only by subscribing to this channel. But if you have a story to tell about a dishonest company, please let us know and we'll feature it here. What should your carriers that you use look like? Well, first of all, you need to use USPS for sure. That's your starting point. Anything under a pound, FedEx or UPS can't touch their rates, all right? And actually now they have commercial pricing, and especially if you're a new entrepreneur starting out, a small business starting out, USPS is pretty good, all the way upwards to like 10 pounds. If you don't ever ship anything over 10 pounds, you really only need USPS. That's good. I'll attach a rate chart here. Now, if you ship in any volume or you ship heavier packages, well, you're gonna need to use one of the monopoly duopoly shipping carriers, FedEx or UPS, all right? They don't want us to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I don't like these carriers. Take a look at these rates. Now these are off the published rates. When I first started back in 2003, I thought I got a killer rate. I beat up the 2 of them and made them negotiate against each other, and I got 39% off. Wow, was I doing good? At least I thought so at the time. Now, over the years, as they both romanced my company, as I grew, I got better and better rates. By the time UPS and I got in our conflict and they shut off my shipping, I was getting 59%. Pretty good, right? Fortunately, I have an uncle and an aunt who had a really big company. I won't name who they are, but they were shipping $400 million a year. So you can imagine their rates were a little bit better than mine. They were getting 67% off published rates for ground shipping. So, at least that'll give you a general idea of what is possible for you. You should never be paying less than 25% off, even starting. All right, so dumb me, I always thought that these carriers build on package weights. Well, they did until about 2015, 2016, when everything changed. And they went to dimensional weight billing. So basically, I guess, if you were shipping pillows, then they weren't too happy about that because you were only paying 2 pounds, 3 pounds for a large box. And so that box that used to be billed at 3 pounds to 5 pounds, then billed at 15 to 20 pounds because of its size. So it's basically, without getting too wonky on you, it is length times width times height gives you a number, and then you divide that number by a divisor number. So when they first started, that divisor number was 166. It's now 139 because they're greedy and they want to keep charging more money if they can. So you've got to look at that. Now here's a little secret. They didn't used to ding you if you didn't give them package dimensions. In other words, you didn't tell them what size the package was. And then in 2019, UPS put a PLD, so package level data, meaning if you didn't give them the width, length, and height of a package, then they started charging a $2 per package fee as a penalty. They do it sometimes, sometimes they don't. I really don't understand what their criteria is for when they charge it, when they don't charge it. In 2019, it was $2. It's now $3.89 per package. So that could be quite significant. Here's another secret. If you ship with Fedex, let's see, here's Fedex in the background. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, there's a trailer behind me. If you ship with Fedex, they don't charge you a dime. So guess what we do? We don't give package dimensions, because what if somebody screws up and puts in the wrong package dimensions? Well, if you do that with UPS, let's say you overstate it and say it's a 200-pound package dimensionally, when it's only a 20-pound package dimensionally, guess what UPS does? Yes, they charge you for the 200 pounds, even though they scan it and they know it's only a 20-pound dimensional package. That's just the way they do business. And I didn't know that at the time, but we definitely do now. So you got to pay attention to the divisor. If it were me, I would ship with Fedex and I wouldn't give them dimensions, because then they're forced to bill you exactly on the dimensions that they scan. All right, another thing you should be aware of is there's a myriad of surcharges both these carriers charge. And I mean, it'll make your head spin, but you should at least be aware of them. There are things like residential versus commercial address surcharges. That's usually about $3. There's annual rate cap. So they like to raise their rates 6% a year. You can negotiate that to be lower. The last time I negotiated, they offered me 3.75 rate cap. So instead of raising my rate 6% every year, they're just going to raise it 3.75. How nice of them. Fuel surcharges, you can't do much about that. Delivery area surcharges, you really can't do much about that. That's when they have to go out of their way to a remote area to deliver. You have address correction charges, and this is a big one that they really abuse. So for example, let's say you're shipping to an apartment complex and it's apartment number 2, and you put APT number 2 instead of just the number sign 2, depending on how the postal service has classified that or done that, they'll charge you an address correction fee for the difference between saying APT or number sign. Kind of ridiculous, but you need to catch them on all these things. And these are some of the things the auditing companies can help you with. Overweight package charges. So anything that weighs over 70 pounds, unless you put it in your contract, because you're always shipping heavy stuff, you're going to get charged a fee for the overweight. If the package gets damaged, broken, it's called additional handling charge. So you've got to be aware of all of these additional surcharges. So when you're negotiating your contract with UPS, I mean, this goes without saying, but you need to have some leverage. And how do you have leverage? Well, you need to be that pretty girl or gal who everybody wants to go to the prom with. So they need to know that there's competition out there and you're talking to other people. Don't be friendly with these people. No. They will act like you're the coolest person ever, and it's all a game, so don't fall for it. They just want to get as much money out of you as they can. Another point to negotiate in your contract is the annual rebate. So with us, we got 6.5% back on our shipping volume. But in order to get that money, you have to do volume tiers. So what you want to do is keep those volume tiers as low as possible, because if you don't qualify for them, you don't get the discounts. And that really sucks. If they think you're desperate, they'll sneak other things in, like an early termination fee. They tried to do that with us once, $200,000 if we switch carriers. Now, okay, well that kind of wraps it up. The next episode's going to delve into how to negotiate your contracts with them. Thanks, this is Ron with Keep Companies Honest. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.